Good morning, guys. So today we are at the Bukit Batok Town Park, and I really wanted to check out the Little Guilin, which is a quarry that looks pretty cool. It's just beside me. Unfortunately, sunrise today wasn't epic, so I shot a bit of a time lapse, but it felt a bit meh. I think because there's like too many clouds today, and yesterday it rained, so wasn't ideal conditions for the sunrise. But this park is pretty cool. It's just beside the main road, which is over there, about a minute's walk, and we are surrounded by the residential area, so it's kind of like a small park in the heart of the heartlands in the area called Bukit Batok. So today I'm just gonna be practicing the gimbal. So I decided to put my mic down the bottom here, attached to a hot shoe NATO mount from Small Rig. So the reason why I did that is because whenever I tried mounting the mic above the camera and I tried to balance the gimbal, it was near impossible for some reason. The setup just wasn't really working for me, so I decided to go with this route instead. I'm really happy that I'm beginning to understand the balancing mechanics of a gimbal. Oh my gosh, this is a really pretty place to shoot. Like all the rocks and trees, it just makes it look like you're not in Singapore. So cool. I'm definitely gonna come back with a nicer outfit. You guys need to see this for yourself. It's so pretty. So I realized after shooting with the Peter McKinnon Polar Pro ND filter last week, there is a really bad X pattern, especially towards the extreme ends of this ND filter. So I got the 2 to 5 stop on, and I noticed that as we approach 5 and 2, especially 5, you can see, like, even right now I can sort of see that this area is a bit like on the blue side, so that's a little bit annoying. And also I realized that I actually hold the camera quite close to my face, so I'm trying to make it a point to like stretch my arms out. It's so funny because as I use my gimbal more, hang on, let me find a less sunny spot. So as I use my gimbal a lot more, hiding in the shade, this setup is not as heavy, but it's only heavy because I'm like stretching my arms out, so that's a little bit annoying. But in order to not look as close to lens, I'm gonna try to make it a point to do that. But overall today it's really pretty. I definitely want to come back and shoot, and can't wait for that to happen. Good morning, guys. If you're wondering why I'm so sweaty, it's because I just came from cycling. Did a really big round. Started at Clementi, and then I cycled all the way to my very old neighborhood, which is so interesting. So I'm actually at the park, and not much has changed apart from there used to be a sand pit over there. But it seems like it's gone. So I decided to come to this area because it's on the way home, and I really wanted to see just this area that I grew up in. So we used to play in the park a lot growing up, and it was just really fun. And I'm so happy that I finally have my new bike. Yeah, so I'm gonna take you guys around the estate and take a little trip down memory lane. So I really wish I had a basket. I've actually placed an order for one, a real one, but I realized that I actually need a front one as well, because whenever I have the camera, I just want to be able to like chuck it into the front basket and not have to like dismount it, put it in my backpack, and then set it up all over again. So I'm hoping to get one soon. Wow, this estate really hasn't changed much since I was last here, which was about like 10 years ago. So the unit that I used to stay in is up the road, and it's been renovated. But it's, yeah, just crazy how nostalgic this area is. This overgrown creepy house is still here. So it seems like they've developed the area under the bridge. It's no longer as creepy as I remembered it to be. I remember that there used to be a lot of tombstones. It was basically a cemetery, and it was a Chinese cemetery as well, which makes it even creepier. What's really interesting as well is they've converted this plot of land into a little park. So initially it was just like flat piece of ground, and it made it even creepier because the bridge was just there to the graveyard. So yeah, it's interesting how times have changed. It doesn't have that creepy vibe anymore. I do apologize for the noise because we are just beside the highway. So yeah, I don't see any gravestones around here, although I do remember that back in the day this entire like plot was just like filled with old gravestones, old Chinese gravestones which had like the blood red writings in Chinese. It was kind of creepy, but it's interesting how they've like converted the area. So they've actually created like this cycling pathway, and it leads to the highway up the road. And I remember back in the day, whenever we would like catch the cab early in the morning to school, we would have to go through this road, and it was just so creepy because we would be like driving through the cemetery pretty much, and this was at like the crack of dawn. So it's just so interesting to see how like times have changed and that they've opened up this area. So yeah, I'm glad they've done that. I stand corrected, the graves are still here. Still looks very creepy, still looks very overgrown. Some of the houses here are just like insane, seriously. That is one bougie house. I honestly don't recognize a lot of the houses on this side of the neighborhood. So like where I was living previously, most of the houses are the same, but this side towards like the main road is very different. There are a lot of like huge houses. The houses in Singapore are really expensive because land is like scarce. So a bungalow like those that I've shown are easily like double-digit millions of dollars. So crazy. But it's really nice just being able to cycle around the neighborhood and just to see what the area's like. Very different now, but yeah, it's cool seeing like a part of me back in the day and kind of reliving those moments again. My parents, especially my dad, is gonna be like a bit concerned with like all my gear. And I definitely want to do a what's in my bag video soon, because the amount of stuff that I bring around is ridiculous. Like the whole vlogging setup is so ridiculous, it's like overkill.